What's up, everybody? Every year around September 11th, they always come up with excuses to not have the Tribute and Light Memorial, and this year was no exception. They tried to use COVID as an excuse not to have them. They said it was too dangerous for the 40 workers that it takes to set up the lights. Meanwhile, they're working outdoors and they can wear masks and take whatever precautions they have to. And these are the same people that are okay with thousands of people marching in the streets, some with masks, some without, yelling, screaming, sending particles in the air. That's not an issue, but they have a problem with 40 people working outdoors on lights. I don't buy it. I think it's a terrible excuse. And I'm glad people fought back to make sure the lights would resume. Now, unfortunately, as newer generations are born, I don't think the symbolism of the Tribute and Light is going to last, as it fades from people's memories. People like myself, I know where I was that day and I'll never forget. It was burned in my brain, that just horrible day. But these newer generations, they're not going to have the same connection to the symbolism of the Tribute and Light. So I want to make this video sharing all my favorite locations to watch the lights and photograph them, because I want people to see them before it's too late and they don't have them anymore. And if you don't live in this area, I highly recommend you either fly or drive out here at least once in your lifetime to witness these lights, because who knows if they're going to keep running them every year. So in this video, I want to make it easier for people to find great locations to either photograph the lights or witness them firsthand. And I'm going to put all the information as far as the location, like the street names or the GPS coordinates, down in the description below. So let's jump into this video. I'm going to use Google Maps to help me out in this video, so let's get started at the parking deck where they set up the lights. If you have some connections, you can actually get access to photograph underneath the lights, which is a really cool perspective. If you don't know anyone that can get you access and you really want to photograph the lights from here, then try contacting the Tribute and Light Museum to see if you can volunteer to help set up the lights, or if you can make a donation that'll give you temporary access. If you can't get directly underneath the lights, you can photograph along the street near them, finding some pretty unique angles and compositions. You could also walk a few blocks to the 9/11 Memorial Pools to capture some beautiful photos from there as well. I recommend an ultra-wide lens when getting this close to the lights. Next, let's work our way to Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge, in which we have a variety of compositions. Starting near Manhattan Bridge, you could get some great shots underneath the bridge showing off its structure with the lights in the background. Next, I highly recommend walking along the Manhattan Bridge, which gives you an amazing view of the Brooklyn Bridge and Lower Manhattan. This is definitely a must-see location for any time of the year, not just September 11th. After Manhattan Bridge, let's work our way to Pebble Beach. Here you could get some more shots of the Brooklyn Bridge and the carousel. I captured one of my favorite photos from this location of a couple embracing while watching the lights. You can also create some panoramas capturing both the Manhattan and Brooklyn Bridge. I've never photographed the Tribute and Light while walking on the Brooklyn Bridge, but I would imagine you could get some decent shots from there as well. Continuing past the Brooklyn Bridge, we have the New York Skyline lookout, which is an okay composition of Lower Manhattan, and the Brooklyn Bridge would be on the right. As you continue walking along the path, you will arrive at Old Pier 1, also known as the Brooklyn Sticks. This place could get pretty packed for photography any time of the year, so make sure you show up early to claim your spot, or later at night to avoid the crowds. You could get some great reflections and leading lines from this location. Most of the photos that I took in this area were with my ultra-wide lens, the 14-24, and occasionally with my 24-70mm lens as well. If you don't have an ultra-wide lens, you can always use a 24mm lens or a mid-telephoto and just do panoramas if need be. So now we're going to work our way over to the New Jersey side and head south to one of the most beautiful compositions of Lower Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty. This is the Port Jersey Boulevard location, which can be a bit of a challenge capturing photos from here since there's no pullout along this road anymore. Your best bet is to go there between midnight and 4 AM to avoid being kicked out by police, which has happened to me before. If you come here prepared with a 70-200mm lens, you only really need 15 to 20 minutes of time to capture some beautiful shots and not have any issues with the police. As we head further up the New Jersey side, we come to Liberty State Park, which has some beautiful views of the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, and Lower Manhattan. I don't have a photo from this location, so I found one on Flickr by photographer Tom Ogden, which I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, and he took a beautiful panorama from Liberty State Park back in 2016. The one thing to note from this location is you'll have Ellis Island in front of your cityscape, which you may or may not like. So I suggest going a little further up to Empty Sky Memorial, which can get really busy on September 11th if you're planning on photographing the memorial with the tribute lights. You could get some great compositions that are similar to what you see here on the internet, but it's better to go there later at night or early into the morning to avoid the crowds. Near the memorial is a waterfront view of the Hudson River and Lower Manhattan, which can also be a great location to photograph from. As we work our way up to Jersey City, we have the 9/11 Memorial, which you could also use in your foreground. Or you could go up to the Katyn Memorial statue to use in your foreground, which is just a little further up at Exchange Place. Along the Hudson River waterfront walkway is a beautiful composition of Lower Manhattan and the tribute in light as well. Now the Hudson River is moving, so if you want reflections like this, you'll have to flip your image to create them, which I have a tutorial for. The last spot in Jersey City that I really loved is near Le Frac Point Lighthouse, and along this waterfront walkway you can capture different compositions of the lights. One of my favorites is this wood structure and pilings near the lighthouse that faces towards Lower Manhattan. Parking for this location is a pain, so I recommend going a few blocks over to Metro Plaza parking lot and walking to the Hudson River waterfront. Most of the photos from Jersey City were with my 14-24 ultra wide lens, and a couple were taken with my 24-7mm lens as well. Another location which I want to try this year is from Eagle Rock Reservation in West Orange. You definitely need a telephoto lens like a 70-200 or possibly longer to capture some photos from Lower Manhattan from this spot. It also makes for a great location for panoramas of New York City. And lastly, if you have the money to do so, reserve a helicopter tour to photograph the lights. You will get some truly unique compositions flying around the city. Now I know there's a bunch of other locations to view the lights from that aren't in this video, but this is just some of the main ones that I love and recommend. If you have some other spots that you would like to share as well, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and never forget.